Breaking news into Texas Tech football. QB2 Will Hammond suffered an ACL injury and will miss the remainder of the 2025 season with the torn ACL. A lot of questions now arise for Texas Tech, including that of, okay, how are we feeling, Tech fans, in terms of Behren Morton? He's supposed to be back this week for Kansas State, but now you don't have that quote-unquote security blanket after him this season, and arguably the most important season of Texas Tech football. But maybe even more importantly, from a future perspective, the Red Raiders have to go out into the portal and get a starting quarterback for next season, right? Oh my God, man, this can't keep happening. This can't keep happening. Like, what curse did Texas Tech football get bestowed upon them? Man, dude, like, what? How does this keep happening? God. All right. Let me introduce the show real quick. Welcome into the Red and Black Report. Appreciate y'all tuning in to this impromptu live here on the channel. Just gutted, man. Just gutted for Will Hammond. Truly gutted for the young man, because fuck, man, he was going to have the keys to the car next year, and now there's a lot of uncertainty. There's no doubt about that. We'll answer some of y'all's questions, read some of y'all's comments. Be sure to get the chat going over there. We'll be live as long as y'all want to stay live, and we have people in here talking and everything. And yeah, I mean, Adam, it's hard not to believe it at this point. I mean, like, I think a lot of Tech fans do. Curse of the Pirate remains. I mean, you think about this from a Texas Tech perspective. You have not had a quarterback play in every game that your team has played in one season since Nick Shimonek was on campus the year after Patrick Mahomes. You're going on almost a decade of this happening if you were the Red Raiders. And damn, man, I'm just so freaking gutted for Will Hammond. Let's discuss the report. You see it on your screen right there. Pete Thamel, he's a busy guy tonight, as this is just one of the big pieces of news in college football going on tonight. Texas Tech quarterback Will Hammond will miss the rest of the season as he has tore his ACL in the win over Oklahoma State. He'd been Texas Tech's backup quarterback this year, shining in 2 starts in relief of Behren Morton. Again, just absolutely gutted for Will Hammond in every aspect of the word. And David, no, he didn't play in every game. He didn't play in the bowl game. That's what I meant. He did not play in every game Texas Tech had for a season. So no, not the bowl game. So he didn't start every game. But if you want to include the regular season, by all means, I get it for sure. From a Texas Tech standpoint, Mitch Griffis is your backup now. There's no debating that. And there is a lot less margin of error for Texas Tech when it comes to keeping QB1 upright. I had a video here on the channel today discussing the good and the bad from Oklahoma State. And at the end of that video, I was calling out, truthfully, Howard Sampson and the offensive line. Most notably Howard Sampson, because he is the leader and the best player on that offensive line. They have to be better. And now even more so, because the margin of error for keeping Behren Morton upright and having that luxury of a guy like Will Hammond behind him is gone, okay? And now for Texas Tech, you are going to even rely more so on your defense than you already have. And that's something that, I mean, your defense is elite. There's no debating that, but there's only just so much it can do in terms of winning you football games if you don't have Behren Morton. For those that were questioning, is Behren Morton the most important player on your roster? Damn Skippy. And this proves it even more. This is going to be a pivotal moment for Texas Tech. And I know that there may be some people watching thinking to themselves, well, if Behren Morton's healthy, RC, what does it matter? Well, Hammond's just QB2. Have you not seen Behren Morton during his career? I mean, prime example is this season. There's a reason Will Hammond has played in virtually 3 whole games now, because you think about it, the half against Utah, the half against Oklahoma State, and then the other 2 games in terms of just overall that he has played, whether that's in the non-con or the starts that he has had. I mean, this is one of those deals for Texas Tech where now more than ever, you have to keep Behren Morton upright. And this is going to be, I mean, it's going to be the biggest talking point for Texas Tech fans moving forward when it comes down to it. Now, Joey McGuire was positive after the Oklahoma State game on the Behren Morton front, saying that Behren Morton would have played if it was a more competitive game. But at the same time, I mean, we thought he was just dealing with a leg injury. Apparently, it was a triceps injury as well. And maybe triceps injury is more concerning considering the upper body injuries that he has had, most notably on his shoulder, Behren Morton. So again, I'm right there with you. This is about to be my point. Stop running QB power. For the love of God, stop running it. Stop it. If it's in your playbook or on your call sheet, Mac Leftwich, just obliterate it. Mark it out with Sharpie. Set it on fire. I don't care what you need to do to get it through your head at this point. Stop it. Stop it. Please, because you cannot ruin this season. And again, there's a lot of other things that can go wrong. Don't get it twisted. But the most important position in football is the quarterback spot. And your margin of error for Texas Tech just went out the damn window. Okay? It went out the window. You ain't got it no more. Will Hammond was that margin for error. You have to keep Behren Morton, and he has to play every snap for the remainder of the year unless it's a blowout against UCF or West Virginia. Okay? You have Cam Dickey and Jacoby Williams. Use them, right? Use Adam Hill. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn who you hand the ball off to. Just stop running QB power. Please. Everyone in Red Raider Nation, I think, agrees with that message. Stop it. It's got to be out of the call sheet now. It's got to be. All right, not the news we wanted to discuss. We're going to talk about maybe the further implications here in a minute for Texas Tech. But if you haven't already, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Want as many Red Raiders in here as possible tonight to discuss this news. Again, the breaking news for Texas Tech football. Not great, Bob. It's not great. Will Hammond will miss the remainder of the 2025 season and more than likely a solid chunk of the 2026 season with a torn ACL. Pete Thamel reporting that for ESPN. Let me know where y'all are watching from in the comments while I scroll back up here and see who's in the chat. We've got Heath. We've also got Reckham Red. We've got Tragedy from Twisted. Feel horrible for Hammond. I'm right there with you. I mean, that's the part I feel the worst about. Like, he was about to have the keys to the car, man. He was about to be that guy that was really going to be in a prime position to take this program, continue upon the new heights that it's projected to go. And now there's a major hurdle in front of him. We've gotten better from a science perspective when it comes to healing ACLs, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be 100% right away. And this is going to bleed into the season for next year. So definitely feel bad for Will. There's no doubting that. We've got Rodney. We've got Beerman. We've got Adam in here. We've got the Red Raider for life. Who else we got in here? Jack. We've got David. We got Twista, Aaron. Who else we got in here? We've got TM Gel 1 as well. I mean, we've got Poke Fodder as well. I mean, just a lot of people tuning in right now. Maitland, is in here as well. Thunder Goat. And then we've got, I believe it's Slander, KMK 69 or 6729. Jesus, man. I think we got to talk about the future side of this because we know what's at stake for Texas Tech this year, right? Like, if Behren Morton stays healthy, this team has I don't know, maybe I'm freaking crazy. Call me what you want. If Behren Morton stays healthy, like, you have a chance to win a national title with this defense. And I know that a lot of things have to go your way in order for that to happen, but I firmly believe that, right? Like, I firmly believe that, but there are massive ifs in terms of his availability from a health perspective. Now, Baron Morton's obviously out of eligibility next year. Will Hammond was thought to be the guy to take over. I mean, Joey McGuire even mentioned it a couple times, like, hey, we signed him to a 2-year contract for a reason. And I think Morton will ball out this year. There's no denying that. I think for anyone thinking that Mitch Griffis should even be remotely close to the starting conversation is absolutely geeking out right now, because that is just an appalling thought and not one that really is serious, in my opinion. That being said, for next season, call me out if you think otherwise. I don't see any other scenario. Texas Tech has got to go get another quarterback in the portal, and one that can start games, like one that can help you win football games. I don't know if there's any way to say otherwise, right? Like, I like Lloyd Jones, but you're going to give him the keys to the car as a redshirt freshman for arguably the next most talented team that you have in program history. Like, it may even be more talented than this one. Who knows what they do in the portal, right? You're going to do that? I can't in good faith do that. And that is not an indictment of how I feel about Lloyd Jones, right? I think he's going to be a good quarterback, but you are in the most important era of your Texas Tech football program's history. You have to go out and get a guy that can win you football games. Maybe it's just a guy with 1 year of eligibility left, and you make sure that you give, Will the time to recover. Maybe you try and push for the medical red shirt next year. I don't know what you try and do with Will Hammond next year. That being said, you have to go get an experienced quarterback that has played at a very high level for this roster that will inevitably have a bunch of guys from the portal that will be difference makers. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, you have to do it. And I don't know who that guy is. I know that someone threw out, hey, the Nico Imaliava. Please no on that front. I think there's other options out there. I know that some people even threw out the UNT guy. Personally, I'll be honest with you. I forget his name. Drew Mestamaker. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Thunder. Perfect. Thank you. I don't know. Maybe, but who's to say he doesn't follow Eric Morris to wherever he's going? Right? There's a lot of options out there. But at the end of the day, like, you're gonna have to go get someone because Baron Morton's out of eligibility, and that 5th year that they were talking about in terms of getting an extra year doesn't really apply to him in that regard. So I don't know where you go if you're Texas Tech. Major questions for 2026, because you think about this now, your roster is going to be loaded. They're going to make an impact in the portal once again. They've already said as much, right? That's just not a one-off type deal if you're Texas Tech. I just don't know where you go. And do you have the philosophy of, again, it's basically November. So Will Hammond basically tore his ACL late November, or late October, excuse me, on the 25th. Basically November. I saw in the chat somebody say it's a 9 to 12 month injury. I mean, what does Will Hammond look like if his legs aren't ready to go, right? I mean, the biggest part of his game so far as a collegiate quarterback has been his wheels. I mean, damn it, his nickname is Will Hammond, right? So where do you go from there if you're Texas Tech? I think it's a very, very big question, and one that will be discussed ad nauseum when the time is right. But I think you have to ask it now. Where does Texas Tech go? Like, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat where y'all think they should go for that perspective, because maybe I'm just not informed enough to know from the next quarterback in terms of where they need to go in the portal. And I see somebody saying we should be focusing on K-State. Okay, I get it, but that doesn't impact right now the thought of the future for Texas Tech. And I get it. You need to focus on Kansas State. That's a them in the building problem, right? As a fan, I'm worried about next year and this year. I'm focused on Kansas State. Don't get me wrong, but again, your margin for error for this year's team gone out the window, fellas. It's gone, right? In terms of the quarterback position, and this is not supposed to be, one of those deals where, I'm throwing Mitch Griffis under the bus or anything. Griffis under the bus, like, I'm not. But at the end of the day, like, where do you go from that perspective? Because the expectations are drastically going to shift if you are Texas Tech, if Mitch Griffis has to play any significant snaps down the stretch for Texas Tech. I mean, shoot, Kansas State is the most important game for the Red Raiders in what? Almost 2 decades? Right? And I'm not trying to cause like a doomsday party or anything. I'm really not. I still think Texas Tech is in a great spot to do things now that Baron Morton is obviously healthy, it sounds like, and they were being very precautionary with him. I mean, shoot, he suited up for the Oklahoma State second half just in case they needed him. But instead they didn't, and they got Holden Phillips, the true freshman from there in Lubbock, some playing time. But overall, I think that this is a bigger question later on. I mean, for Texas Tech, because you think about the way that this program is being discussed, not only from people in the building, but big time recruits. I mean, Felix Ojo, the 5-star tackle, is out there saying, like, hey, this may be the least talented team Texas Tech has for the foreseeable future. And he's talking about this year. So imagine what it's going to look like in 2026, right? I think that there's a lot of options out there. I trust James Blanchard and Brian Nance in the scouting department for Texas Tech wholeheartedly. They're going to do their best to find whoever they need and think is best for the quarterback room in 2026 to add to it, because you're going to have to add to it. You're just going to have to, right? Like, I just don't think in good faith you can go in with Lloyd Jones as your starting quarterback. I just don't think you can do it. As a redshirt freshman, he's going through an injury as well, working his way back, right? I just don't think in good faith you can do that. And I think he's going to be a really good player long term. But, I mean, where do you go? Who do you look at? I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with this statement. Blanchard will find a QB. No doubt in my mind. It's just, where does he go? Right? And I think that that's the biggest question mark now, in the sense of also, what kind of quarterback do they go after? Do they go after a guy that was more, Will Hammond like, that can run the football a little bit? Or do they go with a guy more like Baron Morton? That's more of the pocket passer, who I don't know why they continue to run QB power with him, but they do. Do they go that route? Right? There's so many routes they can go. And, yes, Mitch Griffis does have eligibility left. He has 1 year. But again, no disrespect to him, he should not be your starting quarterback next year. I'm sorry. He just shouldn't be. He is a good depth piece. He is a guy that is great, and I mean great, for the culture of the locker room. But if he is your starting quarterback, I think you're going to have some issues, and you're not going to live up to some expectations you need. And that's even putting a lot of talent around him. Again, no disrespect to Mitch Griffis. He is a guy that I want to have in that room. But at the same time, like, he just isn't the guy that is going to take you to where you want to go, at least in my opinion. Again, I have the utmost confidence that James Blanchard will find somebody in the portal for Texas Tech. No doubt about that in my mind. If you haven't already, we got about 200 people in here. Be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button. We're going live, even when it's bad news. Even when it's bad news for Texas Tech, unfortunately. But appreciate y'all spending some of y'all's Sunday evening with me. I truly do. And I kind of want to get back to Mitch Griffis, in the sense that I obviously want him in the room. And the reason being is this. I actually think that this is a really good point. Miguel, you're right on. We're simpatico right here, my friend, in terms of why I want him in the room. He is going to help whatever quarterback is in the room with you. He is a bona fide star when it comes to understanding concepts. I mean, don't take my word for it. Mac Leftwich went out and identified him as a guy to come in and be a part of this group in terms of the QB aspect of things. And he didn't even really play football for the past 2 years. Was the starting quarterback at Wake for a little bit, but was really more focused on his degree. His words, not mine, right? So he's got 1 year of eligibility left, and I need him to be in that room. I think it would be fantastic for him to return next year, and I think that that's probably the plan. And the reason being is he's going to be able to really help whatever quarterback they do add, because, again, they're going to have to add one, in my opinion, help assimilate that quarterback into that Texas Tech culture, and also help them with the playbook. So, again, Miguel, you and I are simpatico, my friend. That was actually going to be my next point. I think that is something that definitely is a huge draw for Mitch Griffis, and he is definitely going to be a coach one day. He kind of reminds me of Mac Leftwich in that regard, where I'm not trying to take shots here, and I know Mac Leftwich got hurt in college, but maybe they're not the best college quarterback, but they're smart. You can see it. They're good enough to play. They get that experience, and then they start their coaching career early. And, well, you know the rest when it comes to Mac Leftwich. And I've been critical of Mac Leftwich. Don't get me wrong. I think we should in terms of the quarterback power aspect of things, but he's done a lot of great things for this offense. I do believe that for sure. Let's see what we've got here. What do we think about going after DJ Lagway now that Napier is gone? Pair him up with Mac. I mean, maybe he is a Texas kid. I don't know what that situation is going to all entail. It probably depends on who they hire. I know that there's a lot of smoke around Lane Kiffin and Eli Drinkwitz. Lane Kiffin, obviously, from Ole Miss, and Drink from Missouri, but that's not the only SEC school that's open now. That's a marquee job, as LSU has officially dismissed Brian Kelly as of tonight, according to Pete Thamel. That's the major news in college football. In the Texas Tech space, obviously, it's Will Hammond has just torn ACL and will be out for the remainder of this season, and more than likely a lot of next season as well. Let's see here. Where did you get your hat? I got it at No Rivals. I think it was the company that CJ Baskerville was like promoting last year. I like some of their hats, but this one is just absolutely fire. Hashtag not a sponsor, but yeah, that's where I got the hat. For sure. Let's see. What else do we got in here? Coach Lincoln Riley. That's your model. Yeah. I mean, let's see. Griffis didn't do bad, but it was against Oklahoma State. Yeah. I mean, and it's kind of like this too. And you notice that Will kind of struggled in a game that Arizona State game plan for him for, right? Mitch Griffis came into a game where Oklahoma State didn't game plan for him. And, at the end of the day, like, he balled out. He balled out for sure. I mean, he was really, really good in that game. But luckily, we'll have Baron Morton back, it sounds like, for Kansas State, which is huge for Texas Tech. Because, again, this Kansas State game is the most important game that Texas Tech has had in damn near 20 years. So it's good to have B. Mort back. And, well, hopefully back, I should say. Not happy with Wilt being hurt, but definitely going to be some dogs in the portal we hopefully can get at QB. Yeah, absolutely. And I trust James Blanchard. I'm sure everybody listening to this does as well. I mean, James Blanchard, Brian Nance, and everybody else involved in terms of the scouting department for Texas Tech has done a phenomenal job. Hashtag no notes. But, still, it's frustrating because it was going to be Will Hammond's second year in this Mac Leftwich offense, presumably. And you think to yourself, you give him the keys to the car, the offense would be predicated around his skill set. He would have a chance to really live up to a lot of the hype. But at the end of the day, now you question how much does he play next year entirely. Like, is he back for week number 1? Possibly. But, again, it's a 9 to 12 month injury. And right now, you're 8 games into the season. If he returns this time next year, do you go the medical route and just sit him out to make sure he's good to go? I think that there's a lot of questions for Texas Tech right now on that front. Just a lot of questions. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Everyone's worried about BYU. I'm worried about Kansas. I don't know who the hell BYU is. I'll tell you that right now, Heather. I don't know who the hell that is. I'm focused on Kansas State. I'll tell you this, that BYU matchup does not mean jack squat if Texas Tech can't exercise a lot of demons against Kansas State. Y'all know the last time Texas Tech beat Kansas State? I'll tell you here in about 5 minutes. Get some answers in the chat for me. Let me know the last time Texas Tech beat Kansas State. Not Manhattan, just beat Kansas State in general. Just let me know in the chat. This is hard because Morton is not going to be as mobile. There isn't a backup to fall back on. Yeah, I mean, Baron Morton is mobile. Just don't run him with the QB power. It's pretty freaking simple. And this isn't a shot at you, Dale Donuts. By the way, Dale Donuts still bang. I stand on that. I could run a political platform on that. But it just stop running QB power. For the love of God, just hand it off to Cam Dickey or Jacoby Williams. Like, it's not complicated. It's actually very simple. Like, very simple. And if you want to run an RPO type situation, run it to where there's a quick route across the face of the quarterback. Just stop running QB power for the love of God. And if Baron Morton decides to run QB power by himself, make him run until he pukes. You can't be doing that. You can't. It's got to be off the table. Burn the play card with the play on it. Reprint another one, and you better explicitly have on there, do not call QB power. Or, you know what? If you call QB power, Mac Leftwich, you have to donate your entire game check to the Matador Club. Period. I don't make the rules except I just did. Okay, just you can't do it. Please stop. Okay, let's see. So is the offensive line still an issue? I know it wasn't the case in this injury. Yeah, I think it's still an issue. I thought against Oklahoma State, they played well, specifically the left side for the first half. And then in the second half, I get it, you're blowing the team out. I thought there was a lot of miscommunication. And I thought Oklahoma State made you look pretty pedestrian. And you did not pay some of those guys on the offensive line to be pedestrian, most notably Howard Sampson. Did Howard Sampson have the worst game of anybody on that offensive line? No, but he's the star of it. And we know how stars are treated when it comes to accountability in the sport of football. It's got to be better. It's got to be better for sure. There you go. It's been 8 tries. Texas Tech has lost 8 in a row to Kansas State, people. Think about that. 8 in a row. Right? 8 in a row. You don't win in Manhattan pretty regularly, and this team is not regular by any stretch of the imagination. But Tech has gotten BTA'd quite a bit by Kansas State. Hopefully that's different on Saturday. We'll talk about it throughout the week here on the channel. The Red Raiders opened as 7.5-point favorites, or 7-point favorites, excuse me. But we'll talk about that, and I'll have my prediction on the video here later on in the week. This is an interesting one. How about Austin Simmons from Ole Miss? He lost his job to Trinidad Chambliss. Yeah, I don't know much about that situation. Does Trinidad Chambliss have any more eligibility left? I really don't know. I need somebody to help me out there. Sneaker Man has entered the chat. Did Hammond have any other ligament damage or strictly ACL? Let's go ahead and pull up the report real quick for you, Sneaker Man. It's right there. This, according to Pete Thamel, this is all we know right now from what I have seen. Somebody correct me in the chat if there's another report about it, but all I have seen is what is on your screen right now. Texas Tech quarterback Will Hammond will miss the rest of the season as he tore his ACL in a win over Oklahoma State. He'd been Texas Tech's backup this year, shining in 2 starts in relief of Baron Morton. That's what we have in terms of the report. So I think there probably would have been more talk if it was like an MCL, PCL, or whatever CL you want to do and put a letter in front of it in the knee. But it sounds like it might just strictly be the ACL unless there's another report that I haven't seen. K-State talk gives me PTSD. You and me both, brother. This game is so critical for Texas Tech. It's so critical for Texas Tech, man. So critical. So critical for the Red Raiders. In terms of 2-game stretch, it's 1 game at a time. If y'all disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But I think this is the most important 2-game stretch, maybe in Texas Tech program history. Like I said that earlier today in a video, a couple people called me out. I truly believe it. Like in terms of the expectations you have for this season, where you're trying to go if you're Texas Tech, because if you beat Kansas State and you beat BYU, massive ifs right now, because there's a lot that you have to do right to beat 2 good teams. I mean, Kansas State got right? Like they got right against Kansas. They took out a lot of anger against the Sunflower State rival there in the Kansas Jayhawks. I believe they won 42-17, the same score you beat Kansas at home with, if you're the Red Raiders, right? So, I mean, this is one of those deals where if you're the Red Raiders, you got to figure it out quick. And luckily you have, I saw somebody mention him in the chat, you have David Bailey. You got Lee Hunter. You've got Jacob Rodriguez, who should be in the discussion in terms of really the Heisman, I think. I mean, he's been unbelievable. But, just easily the best linebacker in college football, in my opinion. But these are 2 weeks that are absolutely critical, but you can't worry about BYU. You got to focus on Kansas State. All right. We got about 200 people in here. Let me see how many likes we've got. I know it's not all about likes, but it does help the channel. And if you want more lives here on the channel, the best way to help support it is simply like the video. We got 42 likes and about 200 people. I think we can do better than that. Come on. If you want 100% free content surrounding your Red Raiders at basically the drop of a hat, we've got breaking news videos all the time here on the channel. We're going to do promo real quick, all right? We're the largest independent Texas Tech YouTube channel with over 13,000 subscribers, right? We're giving you 100% free content surrounding Texas Tech football or men's basketball all year long, whether it's in the portal, injury news, high school recruiting, game recaps, game previews, anything in between. Oh, and by the way, we're the most interactive community as well. So be sure to smash that like button. And while you're down there, you might as well hit that subscribe button and at least give us a shot, right? I mean, why not? There's nobody else in the tech space that is going live right now. I can tell you that much. All right. Yeah. Listen to Miguel. Listen to my buddy Miguel here. Let's see. Game day to Lubbock versus BYU. I mean, you got to handle business first. And I don't think you're going to get it. I don't think game day is going to go back-to-back Big 12 games. I was surprised that they actually went out to Salt Lake City for the Cincy game this weekend, but that's where they're headed. I don't think they're going to go back-to-back Big 12 games. I really don't. But maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I think really more than anything, you're going to get big noon kickoff. The issue is, are you going to get big noon kickoff where it's a kickoff at 11 a.m. or are you going to get big noon kickoff where they push it to later on in the day and it's, like the 7 p.m. kickoff? Like, we'll see what happens. I don't know where game day is going to go. I just will believe it when I see it. If game day goes to back-to-back Big 12 games, like, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll be more than happy to be wrong. The Iceman Frost. I'll be more than happy to be wrong. I just won't believe it till I see it. See, there you go. We love a good fact right there. But Texas Tech hasn't won against Kansas State in a very long time. It is very, very long time. That's for sure. Again, the big news, though, Will Hammond will miss the remainder of the season due to a torn ACL. Probably going to miss part of next year, too. We'll see how it ends up going. It's a 9 to 12-month injury. Maybe he's back for week 1, but do you risk that if you're Texas Tech? Do you feel good enough if you're the Red Raiders, James Blanchard, Joey McGuire, and crew, to have Will Hammond coming off of an ACL injury to where you don't go get someone in the portal and you just trust Mitch Griffis, right? And you allow those first 3 non-con games to kind of just be, hey, we're going to ease Will back in, and then it's full steam ahead once Big 12 play starts, right? We'll see what happens, but I think personally, like, you're going to have to seriously consider going out and getting a quarterback that is at least tested and has won at a high level because of the expectations you have. And what does that do to the dynamic of the quarterback room? That's on Joey McGuire and them to figure out. But I just don't know the situation that you don't go at a quarterback that at least has the chance to be a starting caliber guy, even if Will Hammond is projected to be close to good to go to start the 2026 campaign. Leave that on your screen here for a second. Hope Mac Leftwich adjust the play calling, get the ball out quicker. Yeah, I want them to get the ball out quicker, but I also need them to push the ball down the field too, because that's going to open up the running game. So it's a double-edged sword a bit. Give a little initial K-State breakdown. I'll be honest, I have watched 0 seconds of them. You need to know Avery Johnson. That's who you need to know. Quarterback, he's pretty damn good. Hasn't been running as much this year, but if you can make him a pocket passer in that Matt Wells offense, yes, Matt Wells is the offensive coordinator. The former Texas Tech head coach is now the offensive coordinator for Kansas State. If you can force Avery Johnson to be more of a passer and keep him in the pocket and now allow him to be elusive and, prolong drives, you'll be in a good spot. I think he is the best quarterback not named Jalen Daniels from a pure dual threat perspective that you'll face this season. And that's no disrespect to Sam Leavitt. I just don't think Sam Leavitt was 100% against Texas Tech. And And yeah, I mean, Avery Johnson is a bona fide star in college football. If he can run the football, it is borderline damn near impossible to guard him or stop the Kansas State offense if he is running like he can. And then you have to focus on the run, and that creates one-on-ones on the outside. Their wide receivers can win at a rate that is good enough for them. And that is a big, big test for Texas Tech in the secondary for sure. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I this was the first thing I thought of um, when I just started talking about Avery Johnson. But to be fair, Avery Johnson has not faced a defensive line like the one he's going to face. He has not faced a linebacker core like he is going to face for Texas Tech. So we'll see exactly what happens on that front. But I think that that's the thing I'm watching for most. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in terms of keys to the game later on this week. What else we got? How does this affect recruiting? I think majorly. I think you're going to have to go and I'm assuming you're talking about Will Hammond. I think it's major. I think you're going to have to go out there and prioritize getting a quarterback that is at least, okay with competition. Like it is proven that they can win at the Power 4 level or at the very high G5. Like that's just the reality of the situation. I don't think you can go in to next year with Mitch Griffis as QB2, and you're hoping that Will Hammond is good enough to go off of an ACL injury. I just don't think you can do it. And it's not a disrespectful thing to Mitch Griffis, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Let's see. Defense, luckily, has played Utah and Kansas, so we've had experience against big-time threats with their legs. Absolutely. And this defense is, I mean, all kinds of legit. It's just really, for me, if Avery Johnson's on as a passer as well, the margin for error for Texas Tech is like minuscule. I mean, it's going to be really, really tough, man. I think Kansas State really got back in a good way this past weekend. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Kansas State didn't get right there. It was just a rivalry game. Like, okay, well, you can prove to me that you're not right. But the way that Avery Johnson looked against Kansas, they look pretty damn good. Okay. And they're still talented. They're still well coached. You're going to a place that you have not won historically at in a really long time. I get it's a different team, but we'll see what happens. I see a lot of people talking about Drew Mestamaker, or I don't know if that's how you say his name, from UNT. I'll be honest with you. I think he follows Eric Morris wherever Eric Morris ends up. And I don't think Eric Morris is going to stay at UNT. I really don't. I don't know where Eric Morris goes, but he'll be a G5 coach, and I think Mestamaker follows him. So we'll see what happens on that front. I also saw somebody mention Kavian Bryant. He's class of 2027, although you should be on the lookout. He is scheduled to announce his commitment actually the day of the Kansas State game, and Texas Tech is the perceived favorite right now, but he would not be on campus until 2027 from that standpoint. And he would be, I mean, he's number one quarterback in the class of 2027. He's a damn fucking good quarterback and a guy that I'd be uber excited about long-term for the Red Raiders. Let's see here. What else we want to talk about? Oh, here we go. This is a good question in terms of Carter. Do you think Carter will be 100%? If so, that's huge. I don't even want to speculate on that, man. I really don't know from that perspective. No idea. I hope so, because Terrence Carter Jr. is maybe my favorite player to watch on this Texas Tech offense. I just love a good tight end that's athletic as hell, can catch the ball, and he's committed to blocking as well. So I'm not too sure on the Terrence Carter Jr. front. It would be massive to have him back, as you mentioned. But we'll know a lot more tomorrow when Joey McGuire speaks to the local media out there in the 806. And likely we'll answer a couple questions about Will Hammond and also discuss some other injuries as well. He will be sought after next year. Yeah, Eric Morris, I don't think will be at UNT. I just don't. But maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you think this will affect other people wanting to play at Tech? Nope, not at all. I do not. Really not in the slightest, to be honest, because I still think you can go and pitch like, hey, he's not going to be out for the entire season, right? We're going to go out there and get somebody in the portal, right? And when Will Hammond is ready to go inevitably next season, like he's going to be the starter. It's just a matter of time in terms of like who are they going to pursue? What's the level? Like, is it more of like a security blanket in terms of like, we know this guy can at least win some games for us in the non-con until Will is back and ready to go 100% for Big 12 play, giving him a couple extra weeks, probably a month if there's a bye week, right? So we'll see exactly what happens on that front. But I don't think it will impact anyone from a high school recruiting standpoint or a transfer portal aspect of things for the Red Raiders when it comes to landing top end talent. Nope, don't think so at all. I don't think we'll have a problem getting a quarterback in the portal. I don't either. I mean, I trust James Blanchard, Brian Nance, all those guys to make the correct decision. It feels like they're batting 1,000 when it comes to guys in the portal and landing top end competition. I mean, I can't help but think of guys obviously on the defense, but even on the offensive line, like Howard Sampson. I'm critical of him just because I think he's literally has the potential to be a great left tackle. And he has played like a great left tackle at times, but he hasn't done it at a consistent rate. I think he was awesome in terms of the addition. Will Jados, he's been great at left guard for Texas Tech, or shouldn't say great. He's been good at left guard for the Red Raiders. I mean, Jacob Potton beat out Hunter Zambrano, who was one of the most highly coveted offensive tackles in this past year's portal class. I mean, it is what it is at that front, on that front. So I think Texas Tech has done a phenomenal job at identifying talent not only in the high school ranks, but the transfer portal. And I don't think anything's going to change on that front moving forward. Does Taylon Green actually have eligibility left? We'll see. I mean, here's the beautiful thing about Texas Tech right now. Truly mean this. Like, there is no option that's off the table. Like, from the highest level. Because Texas Tech's got the dinero, they've got the pesos, they've got the moolah, the quiche, as the kids call it, right? Like they've got funds and they've got a willingness to go after guys at a high level. So I'm very interested to see what they do at the quarterback spot because you're going to have to add one. I just think you're going to have to do it. And again, I like Mitch, but at the same time, you got to go get somebody else, I think. I think it's really just you're going to know a lot more. That this is going to sound bad, and I could probably phrase this better, but this is the way that comes to my mind. First, the nice thing about the timing of this injury, again, I told you it wasn't going to sound great the first sentence, is that this gives you time to see how he reacts to surgery, okay? Because the portal does not open until early to mid-January now. So now you're going to have about 2.5 months to see how that early recovery is going for him in the sense of what are doctors telling you? What are, the prognosis of, is he a little bit ahead of schedule? Is he a little bit behind schedule? Like, where is it looking, right? And that will give you a better idea of going into the portal on if you need to go land a guy like a potential DJ Lagway who could come in and be a star for you right away because Will Hammond may not play at all in 2026? Or is it more of a situation where you go out and land a guy that's a little bit better than Will Hammond in terms of a backup, right? Where you go out and you add a guy that you feel good about for the first 3 games, as I mentioned, to allow Will Hammond to get back on his feet. And then if he has to miss a game in the Big 12 due to, lingering knee issues, you feel good about that guy. Do you go that route? There's so many avenues to go, but the nice aspect of this, again, it sounds bad. I understand, and call me out if you want. The nice part about this injury is that it happened now, okay? And it gives Texas Tech a little bit of buffer in terms of figuring out a plan and going to pursue whatever plan they decide on when it comes to adding a quarterback within the portal, okay? So that's the biggest thing. Also, I don't think they're going to go after Mensa. Mensa signed a big-time deal out at Duke. I know we could probably give him more money, but I'm pretty sure Mensa got like $3 million from Duke. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating that, but I think it's in the $3 million range. Yeah, this is possible. He can medical redshirt. I don't know how likely it is. Truth be told, I don't like to say, "Oh, this guy will medical redshirt," because that process is crazy. And you think a guy is going to medical redshirt, and then all of a sudden it's like, "A no, by the way, no, you don't get it." So there's that. Yeah, it's wild. See, Brent gets it, man. And this is why you need to like the video and hit that subscribe button. This right here. We're doing this all the time. We're doing this all the time here on the channel. We're going live at least once a week, right? And these are your people. This is where Red Raider Nation is hanging out, okay? Each and every week, we're posting at least 5 videos absolutely free. It may be talking Texas Tech football, maybe talking those hoopsters and JT Toppin, Chris Anderson. By the way, he wants to go by Chris Anderson Jr., for those that are curious on that front. And not Christian Anderson. He wants to go by CA or Chris Anderson Jr., just to let you know. Discussed that at Big 12 Media Days. Good interview, by the way. Chris Anderson is. But Brent gets it, man. He gets it. You should get it too. All you have to do is join the RBR squad by simply hitting that subscribe button and liking the video. All right. I'm going to keep this on the screen, Brent. This is good stuff, Brent. I appreciate you, Brent. I hope your favorite football team won today. And if it was the Dallas Cowboys, I apologize profusely because like I'm a Titans fan, and that's all I really need to say. Yeah, the NFL sucks. I hate it. Let's see. Isn't it rumored that the Michigan quarterback might transfer? He ain't leaving. He ain't leaving. Nah. Bryce Underwood ain't leaving. He ain't leaving at all. Let's see what Sean has to say. There will be plenty of QB option for us given the state of our program, what our program is. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, Sean. Wholeheartedly. It really does come down to what kind of quarterback do you want, right? Like at the end of the day. And we just kind of talked about it in the sense of, is it more of a depth guy, or do you feel like you need to go out and get a true starting caliber quarterback in the Big 12 because Will Hammond may be behind schedule, right? There's going to be so many options. At the end of the day, this is what you should take in if you're a Texas Tech fan and feel really good about. You have James Blanchard as your GM. He is the best GM in college football. He has done nothing but hit continuously on players that he identifies in the portal. Routinely hits on them, right? So we'll see exactly what the plan is, what the coaching staff wants to do, but I can tell you this. Whatever James Blanchard, or I should say, whoever James Blanchard, Brian Nance, and crew decide to pursue at the quarterback position for the addition into 2026, I have the utmost confidence in them. Absolutely confident that they will acquire the right player on that front. It's been wild, man. It's been a wild day. Will Hammond, once again, tears his ACL. He will miss the remainder of the 2025 season, and large question marks are now there for him going into 2026. We'll see exactly how it plays out for Will Hammond, but that's the big news for Texas Tech football right now is there is a large question, and now the health of Baron Morton becomes even that much more larger of a priority for the Red Raiders and keeping him upright. The Texas Tech offensive line has to play better moving forward. I expect they will, but we will see exactly what that entails. But Mitch Griffis will now be QB2 for the Red Raiders for the remainder of the season. All right, that's going to do it for today's live video. Appreciate y'all tuning in impromptu here on the channel. Just again, I know I've done a lot of promo here, but there's a lot of new faces in the crowd here. I know there is, and a lot of new people tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube and the Red and Black Report. Appreciate each and every one of y'all spending some of your Sunday evening with me, although with some unfortunate news for Texas Tech football is once again, Will Hammond has torn his ACL, and he will miss the remainder of the 2025 season and potentially part of the 2026 season. We shall see. But we do know one thing for certain. The Red Raiders need to go 1-0 this week. We'll have plenty of content surrounding Texas Tech at Kansas State. The Red Raiders opened up as 7-point favorites. against the K-State Wildcats. We'll discuss that a lot further this week here on the channel, including a game preview, keys to the game, as well as Joey McGuire's comments at his press conference slated for tomorrow out in the 806 with the Lubbock local media. All right, that's going to do it. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. And as always, you know what to do. Stay safe and Recom Tech.